Many people say that the kitchen is the heart of the home, and sometimes you got to give it a little bit of attention to keep that blood pumping. So today we're going to give our kitchen some attention by giving our cabinets a nice paint job. Now let's call it a paint job. Give it a paint job. It sounds kind of dirty, but that's what we're going to be doing. Now these cabinets are really nice. They're a nice shaker style, engineered wood. But what we want to do is make it a little bit brighter, match the aesthetic to the rest of the house.
So let's talk materials. We purchased a gallon of primer, a gallon of semi-gloss paint in a white dove color, 2 cans of Rust-Oleum spray paint, TSP substitute, and a bunch of rollers and brushes. We spent about $130 in addition to items that we already had, like rags and cleaners and shit like that. Removing the doors and hardware took us about 90 minutes, but don't just whip through this step. The tip that we learned was to label each door and cabinet and use some old envelopes to hold the hardware that belongs to each door. Now you're going to be so glad you did when putting these things back together. Then we moved to the outside to prep and paint.
Playtime over here. Work time over here. So what are we doing here?
We are cleaning cabinet doors. I wiped it down. I used a little TSP and cleaned them really good and then wiped them down with water, and then we're going to use some quick clutter just to make sure they are super clean before I sand.
The boss cleans them up good and then uses a fine grit sanding sponge to rough up the finish. She then used foam rollers and brushes to apply the primer and then the paint. I took on the handles by using a fine grit sanding sponge to rough up the finish before hitting them with a few coats of Rust-Oleum. Now keep in mind the painting process took a few days to let the wood pieces dry before lightly sanding and repeating. During our wait times, we prepped and painted our cabinet frames and rocked that whole parenting thing.
My brother isn't sharing. He's not a share.
You guys need to share, dudes. Sharing is important and good.
Once everything was painted, it was time to put Humpty Dumpty back together again. Cabinet door installation took about 2 hours because of the adjustments that have to be made to get the doors to fit just right.
Our cabinets look beautiful, and now we're going to put these on. I can barely handle it.
Putting the handles on took another hour, and then it was time to stand back and assess our work. This part of our kitchen update cost about $150 and took up a weekend to accomplish, but we think it was well worth the effort. Check out part 2 of our kitchen update to see how we created an open shelf space to complement our new bright kitchen. And don't forget to like and subscribe and do all those things that, I guess, help support us. And tell some friends.